In order to understand how a writer or speaker is able to engage an audience or convince the audience to accept an argument, you need to understand the three rhetorical appeals: logos, pathos, and ethos. So let's define each one of these and look at some examples in popular arguments. The Greek philosopher Aristotle defined the rhetorical appeals as ways to engage and persuade an audience. Also known as modes of persuasion, they are logos, pathos, and ethos. Logos is an appeal to your rational or logical sense. A writer will use facts, statistics, and other logical evidence to convince the audience. Let's look at an example. In this advertisement for a tutoring program, the company appeals to logic. Students in their program see an average improvement of 150 points on the SAT and 4-point improvement on the ACT. These statistics suggest that you, the viewer, will also improve if you enroll. Using hard data emphasizes the measurable benefits of this program, and it's logical that you too would benefit if you enrolled. Another rhetorical appeal is pathos, an appeal to your emotions. A writer may share a descriptive or personal story to build empathy with his or her readers. The writer may use emotional language or strong imagery to create an impassioned response in the viewers. When using pathos, the writer wants you to feel a certain way and use those feelings to spur you to action. So here's an example of an ad that appeals to our emotions. This is an ad for dog food. You'd have to buy this brand to access the hero coupons that they reference. So our logical brain may choose dog food for our pets based on what's most nutritious or cost effective, but this ad appeals instead to how we feel about our pets. So we know the target audience would be dog owners, because that's who buys dog food, and the audience's eyes are drawn to the dog. Now, as dog owners, they're going to hold positive associations with the dog. So this dog probably makes them feel good. They're going to associate the image with feelings like love and friendship and trust. Notice they also repeat the word hero, and that makes us feel a certain way as well. If we are heroic, we'll feel proud. We'll feel worthy of praise. So again, this ad is using that word to make us feel a certain way. We want to buy this dog food because the dog makes us feel happy, and if we buy it, we can feel like a hero. A third rhetorical appeal is ethos, an appeal to the writer's own reputation, credibility, or trustworthiness. Now this one can be a little tricky because it's often very subtle. Appealing to ethos can be done in many ways. A writer can mention his or her own credentials. They can show education or experience to build trust. A writer can also use sources that the audience would accept as reputable or credible. Even something as subtle as using what the audience would consider proper English can build trust or a writer's credibility. So let's look at an example. So here's an older advertisement, I believe from around the 1930s. This advertisement appeals to the audience's trust in doctors and physicians. Notice how it says 20,679 physicians say Lucky's are less irritating. It's assuming that we will listen to the doctors because they are credible sources, so it's appealing to their ethos. In the very far left corner, it says the figures quoted here have been checked and certified by Librand, Ross, Brothers, and Montgomery, accountants and auditors. So even though this is small and maybe a lot of people wouldn't notice it, it's also building credibility by showing that the statements in this advertisement have been confirmed by professionals. Accountants and auditors provides a sense of ethos as well. So these were just a few examples of the ways in which the rhetorical appeals can be used in arguments. In many arguments, you'll see a combination of two or more of these appeals rather than just one isolated appeal. When assessing or evaluating an argument, it's important to not only recognize these appeals, but also consider their impact on the target audience. An audience of biologists are not likely to be swayed by an emotional anecdote, for an example. Too many facts and figures can overwhelm a non-technical audience. So it's important to note that just because a writer or a speaker uses all of these appeals doesn't necessarily mean they've constructed an effective argument, if that argument is not going to appeal to the audience. Review additional information and examples of the rhetorical appeals in our course, and if you have any questions, contact your professor.